MsSavvypro Show is just for you, empowering you to live the purpose and passion within by helping you pursue your hopes, dreams, and goals through empowerment, goal setting, relationships, and so much more. The MsSavvypro Show, part of the I Am Superwoman Radio Network, a network that advocates empowering the superperson in you. Be encouraged, be empowered, be savvy. And now, the MsSavvypro Show.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the MsSavvypro Show. It's another terrific Tuesday. And we are here. We are here on this great Tuesday. It's me, Patrice Jackson, a.k.a. your girl, MsSavvypro. And we have a wonderful guest today. We have Asa Leveaux, and we are going to hear all about what he loves to do and all the things he got coming up new. And we are going to have a great show. We're going to learn a lot. We're going to have some fun. And I'm quite sure you'll be happy at the end of this show. All right, you guys, we're going to go ahead and jump in. If you have any questions, you know you can always put them in the page, and the guest will always answer those, or I will answer them for you or get them to him. And we'll just go ahead and jump in. I'll read his bio. So, Asa Leveaux grew up with a burning desire for knowledge and the ability to create what he could not find. Born and raised in Oklahoma City, Asa grew up the oldest of 5 siblings. His role as eldest sibling catapulted him to leadership roles within his family dynamic, making it easy for him to continue to lead throughout his academic career. With multiple degrees and AS in liberal science, a BA in administrative leadership, and a certificate in behavioral health rehabilitation, Asa's path was clear. His personal motto that he lives by is to process a joyous existence conceived by enlightening through and achieving through love, passion, and wealth. All right, so Asa expertise in business development through an extensive study of coaching technologies, philosophies, and various profile assessment tools has provided a way to transfer bitterness to bliss in the lives of many. Asa has coached and mentored actors, singers, and others in the entertainment business, fitness, health, and wellness professionals, entrepreneurs, business professionals, and more. He has also been a professional speaker for many organizations that reach out to the disenfranchised, including youth and people trying to re-enter the workforce. Asa founded Genius Academy, a great academy, which promotes personal success through the implementation of key strategies that are encouraged through inspiration and tactical execution. Genius Academy was founded to train and develop aspiring entrepreneurs to create their first $10,000 in business. Asa has also founded a nonprofit initiative that provides master classes to the global LGBTQ community called Queer School. Leveaux has written best-selling books on a number of topics, including I Am Man Enough, 365 Affirmations of Men, and I Am Woman Enough, 365 Affirmations for Women, which encourages daily with notes, quotes, and stories that help women and men put their lives into perspective. Asa leverages his unparalleled skill set to propel his own success as well as the growth of his colleagues and clients. Yay! We got him on the show. It's going to be great. So, are you there? Can you hear me, Asa?
Yes, I am here. How are you?
Welcome to the show.
Of course. I'm glad
I am so glad we were able to get you on the show. So we read your bio, but I've seen, your posts and the things you teach. And even with that bio, there's still more to you. So tell us a little bit more about yourself.
So I am a proud father of an 11-year-old little boy. I call him my son, my S-U-N and my S-O-N. It is a pleasure to be a father. with everything with the military, even though it states, something about me being in the military for 15 years, that took a great amount of patience. It took a great amount of wherewithal and tested everything that I thought was good about me and that I thought no one cared to know about me. That's definitely what the military and the experiences that I've had as that result has offered me.
Well, so you basically learned a lot from the military. I mean, well, I can say learned a lot, but it was really a true journey for you to learn about yourself.
Indeed, it really was.
So tell me, okay, so you have a degree in administrative leadership and liberal studies, and you have a certificate in behavioral health. When did you decide to use those things for business? How did that develop?
So utilizing those for business, the thing about it, I have been in business. I say that I've been in business for 11 years. However, I've been going after entrepreneurial endeavors since I was around 9. And I say that because what an entrepreneur is someone who sees a need or sees a problem and then understands that they are the solution to that problem. So at 9, I was a little boy at children's church, seeing that all the kids wanted candy. I asked my mom for $5, and what did I do? Bought the candy, began to sell the candy to make money. So I've been doing that, mowing lawns, all of that for a very long time to make sure that I take care of myself and that I am responsible for the life I want to live, even as a teenager. So when I finally had the ability to go to college and get different trainings, my thing was I thought that as a result of going to college, it would put me in one direction or the other, but that just wasn't true. I was now very clear with the education that I had received that, no, I don't desire to go this route. Where I am is just where I need to be, and now I have certain education that will propel that better and quicker.
Wow. So it was always in you, but you just used your education to to make it stronger and to like you said, propel you into what you're doing now. I totally understand that. That's how I was. When I was a kid, I was always in the stationery section or wanted to play office. I never played house, and I never played school. I played office and I played church. And that's who I am now. And it's funny how, you go from, you kind of get sidetracked sometimes, some people do, and then you always end up back what you always love to do. So that's great. So were you able to, do you use like your degree do you feel like your degree or your certificate with behavioral health helps you understand your customers and your clients even better?
I believe it did, because as a result of getting that behavioral health certificate, I was actually working for the Department of Mental Health for the state of Oklahoma for a significant amount of time, and during that I was something called a behavioral health rehabilitation specialist. And what that allowed me to do is to see clients that needed a certain level of accountability, coaching in regards to their mental health state, and then doing those follow-ups, so providing notes to the licensed therapist, working with them in order to ensure that their overall plan was working best for them, and that all sides understood what was taking place. And so that experience, I just took that to what entrepreneurs need. So making sure that I had notes, making sure that I followed up, making sure that if they were working with someone else, that I could not see that as a competition, but see that as more of a collaborative effort for the benefit of who I was there to serve.
Wow, that's amazing. Wow. Well, I think that it's wonderful that you use your skills and you use what you've learned to help other people. Like one of the things I like reading your bio, how you help the disenfranchised and the youth. How did you start? When did you see a need for that? And how do you help them? What are some of the things you've done?
So as far as you said entrepreneurs, correct?
Yeah, entrepreneurs, because I know you say you work with, like, the disenfranchised in your bio and with youth. So do you teach them, entrepreneurship so that they can get back on their feet or see things that they can do to help their future?
Now, as far as youth go, so in the bio it talks about queer school, but anything not with that particular initiative. So I have been asked to come to different, let's say, vacation Bible schools as a community leader, or come to the Boys and Girls Club, come to different schools and provide my expertise in business and let them know what's possible, let them know what's available. And I've done all of those things, and I love to do those things. And those most oftentimes revolve around entrepreneurship. So I can literally teach a 10-year-old how to develop a business. And my thing is, the reason why I like to do that so much is because I feel that if you are an adult and you boast and say that you offer clarity and that you are indeed clear about what you do, what problem you solve, and all of that, and you are not able to teach that to a 10-year-old, I no longer believe you. And
Wow.
Being that clear in my language for the 10-year-old, my thing is a lot of people in the world even though they may have graduated high school, even though they may have college degrees, their actual daily comprehension of words is most oftentimes on an 8th grade level or under that. And so to be able to talk in clear, concise points helps everyone that I deal with day in and day out.
And that is very true, that if you could teach, like you said, if you could teach it to a 10-year-old, you should be able to teach it to anyone on their level or at any level, and they should be able to comprehend them and get it and then go forth with it to actually use it in their life. That's so true. So with Genius Academy, when did you start Genius Academy, and can you tell us a little bit about that?
I sure can. So Genius Academy started in 2013. Now, I'm going to say this, and this is going to help someone. When I first started out as a coach, consultant, trainer, it did not always look like Genius Academy. Sometimes, individuals, we stop ourselves because it's not perfect, but it's better to be done than to be perfect.
Wow.
Perfection is our problem.
That's a tweetable. That's a tweetable. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Perfection is our problem, not anybody else's. We make up in our minds what perfection looks like. And the thing about it, the people who need us most don't care anything about that. They just need us to show up in our authentic way and now. Like they need us yesterday, and we need to get out of our heads into our hearts and understand that we are here to serve people. So I say that to say I started out not as Genius Academy. I started out with something called Bliss Coaching. And most people, even today, are like, what in the whole wide world is Bliss Coaching? Well, my intent was to help people be happy who had jobs. And throughout, I did get success with it. I had clients and all of that, but it wasn't totally clear. I wasn't as clear as I am today, but I still needed to take action. And taking that action led me to Genius Academy. And how I came up towards this whole concept of Genius Academy is literally based on how I felt about myself in that moment. So in that moment in time, I still had this limiting belief about myself that I was not a good business person, even though I had been a business owner since I was 22 years old, and at that time I'm either 30 or 31, and no, 29 or 30 actually. And at that time, I had listened to everyone else that had an idea about business but had never been in business for themselves. So they may have had an MBA. They may have just had an opinion. And they were telling me things that I shouldn't be doing, that I was being greedy about, but they didn't understand any rhyme or reason behind it. So, for instance, they didn't understand, a profit margin calculation, those things. All they knew was that it looked like me marking something up, 80%, but it had nothing to do with the actual profit margin. So things like that, and then, so out of that limiting belief, I had to take that thought of me not being a good business person and come up with an affirmative thought that could propel me into another level of life. And so rather than thinking that I was not a good businessman, I began to affirm myself and say, I am a wealthy business genius. That was my new thought for myself. Well, about a week passed, and I started to think, wait a minute, if I desire to be a wealthy business genius, then maybe somebody else does too. And that was the catalyst for Genius Academy.
Wow. Okay, so when you said to yourself that you are a wealthy genius, that just enlightened something in me that I got super excited because two things. One, I like the fact that you said that you first started out with Bliss Coaching, where you were doing that. You were teaching people how to, people who had a job, how to be happy. I like that you spoke to that first because a lot of times my audience and people out there, they think, oh, okay, well, I started this one business and I like it, I do it, but I feel like I want to grow. I want it to grow. I want to do something different. And they feel like even though they get stuck and they say, well, this is working, this business is working, but even though they feel like it's more, they don't do it because they feel like, oh, well, I don't want to push it, or I don't want to get uncomfortable. But you got uncomfortable and took your business to a whole nother level, learned more, you grew, educated yourself even more, and now you have Genius Academy. That's amazing, and I like the fact that you said that because I want my audience to realize that it's okay to kind of push and feel uncomfortable and do something different.
Thank you for that.
And so that was one thing that I loved. But the other thing, too, and it was kind of a question I was going to ask you anyway, is affirmations. Can you speak to how important those are and how it changed? Well, you already showed how it changed your life. But can you just speak to how important it is?
Of course. So affirmations are so important that I really did write 2 books about affirmations. And before, if you can think about growing up and you wanting to ride a bike, think about what it took to ride that bike. You first had to think a thought. And the thought wasn't around you saying to yourself, I can't ride no bike. No, you were like, okay, I see the big kids riding bikes. My cousins are riding bikes. I want to ride a bike. I think I can do it. That's the genesis of an affirmative thought. When you applied for college, when you went to that VOTEC, when you went into the military, you thought first that it was possible and then acted upon that positive thought. So my thing is, please don't devalue what positive thinking in the realm of affirmations can do, because every point of your life, whether you recognize it or not, has begun with an affirmative thought. So it is very important, and it is something that will actually keep adding personal development to you. So, for instance, I've written a book with 365 affirmations in it, one for women and one for men. I think I'm pretty good on affirmations. Like, I'm good. I'm totally complete in that experience. And then I still went to an affirmational workshop. I'm always looking for ways to better myself. Mm-hmm. And just the same way that I told you in the workshop, they do the same thing. They want you to find out what is that one thing that you still have, that a negative idea about that creeps up into you at 3:18 a.m. when no one is around, when the house is asleep, when there's no light coming in through that window. What is being whispered to you from you? That thought, what is still there in the crevices of your mind and the crevices of your heart? What is still taking place there? And I had to be really vulnerable and step out of this idea of who in the room might think that of Asa Leveaux. So they may have this preconceived notion who Asa Leveaux is, and I had to get past that because I needed to be a part of my own rescue. And that takes being vulnerable. And so my limiting thought, I had to get clear. It was like, wow, in this right now moment, I still think that no one will really ever love me. Like no one will never really love me. And that being shown up in my life by putting myself last. But making it sexy, though. So I put myself last because, I'm just here for the people. I'm caring for folks. No, you are treating society and the world how to treat you. So when they put you last, you shouldn't have a problem because you have taught them how to treat you.
Wow. Okay, so I hope the listeners got pen and paper. If you don't, get some, because he is dropping nuggets on us. It was so much of what you just said. Okay, so first of all, you're saying, affirmations are so important, and you have to, here he is, wrote a book on it, been using it, used it to get better, used it to grow his business, used it to grow him personally, but he still goes to a workshop to find things. He's still using these things. You can't just stop, I've done it for 365 days, and okay, I'm done. I'm good for the rest of my life. No, this is something you have to continue to do because you yourself, us personally, are our worst enemies. Like you said, it's in the middle of the night, you can't sleep, and you're just downing yourself. It doesn't even worry about what everybody else is saying. You're just going about what you think everybody else is saying. Mm-hmm. So that's amazing, how you said, that we have to just continue to use these things. So I appreciate you sharing that with us about how important affirmations are.
Most welcome.
So tell us about business and staying motivated in your business and being an entrepreneur, because I'm quite sure, like you said, with having those affirmations, you had those days where you're like, I'm just gonna go to work. I'm not gonna worry about this business no more. I'm gonna get a second job, or I'm gonna do this. I don't want to work on my passion and my dream anymore, because you get defeated, sometimes. So can you give us some tips to stay motivated?
Sure. So as an entrepreneur, and you are going through life, and you are putting yourself out there, and you want to do good in the world, and of course you want to make money, and all that is very true. One thing that I hope that those of you that are aspiring, because like you said in the bio, my what I do for a living is I train and develop aspiring entrepreneurs to create their first 10,000. And as you are aspiring, there's this thing that keeps creeping up in the entrepreneurial world. And it's this thing called comparison. And with that comparison, you may feel that you are not an entrepreneur enough. So what that could look like is, let's say for right now, you're working on your exit strategy from your 9 to 5. And you are looking at different people on social media, maybe even different people in your real life circle, and they're entrepreneurs, and they're sharing with you the glitz and the glam of entrepreneurship. So the fact that I'm actually being interviewed right now, that's a glitz and glam of entrepreneurship. The headshot, the sizzle reel, all of those are the sexy parts of entrepreneurship. But no one is talking about those things that suffocate the living life out of you. No one is talking about how in the world do you rob Peter, diss Paul, and piss both of them off. And wake up and have the audacity to call yourself an entrepreneur and say that you are doing things in integrity, and still hope and pray that people deal with you in integrity, because you know that you were wrong. But you had to do what you had to do, and all you knew to do in that moment was what? To piss off Peter and diss Paul and not pay anybody. So because of that, comparison creeps up, and you think you are, in the words of Yana Van Zandt, a gutter snipe. And you think that you aren't good enough because you're comparing yourself against something that may not be real. And comparison is the thief of all joy.
Yeah.
The thief of all literal joy. So a way that you can stop that comparison is, number one, get clear about what you do. Because when you are clear about what you do, you don't necessarily have the energy to focus on what someone else is doing. So, for instance, I have one of my business besties is a woman by the name of April Hunt.
Oh, yeah.
I love April. Like, we are true friends.
I can see that because you both had like that real energy. That energy where, you know, like you getting
totally.
it real, it's genuine. You just trying to get the real facts out there, and it's all out of love. I get it. I can see y'all being good friends.
And so, friends, like, if I call her, like, hey, mama having something at the house, come over. Or she'll call me like, hey, me and the hubby are watching a movie, come over. Like, that kind of friend. And so April is a really good entrepreneur. And she has another level of success that she's experiencing right now. And I could, by every stretch of the imagination, say, you know what? I don't have a movie out. So because of that, I'm not good. Or I don't have a client that's been on TV as far as like a big television, like being featured type thing. So because of that, I'm not good enough. No. Her clientele, she takes people from one level to the next. I take people where they are to their first 10,000. So if I'm clear on what I do, I can celebrate her and accept her celebration of me as genuine and not pity. Because sometimes we make up in our minds, that the people that we see on another level than us, we see them, when they say good job, we see that as maybe they are proverbially patting a dog's head like good boy. And you made all that up in your head based on how you feel about you. So as you are going through the entrepreneurial journey, check that comparison in yourself, because that will pollute possibilities for you.
And that's, I love the fact that you said that about April, because you You hit it on the head. At the end of the day, in general, you're two business coaches, okay? That's true. But it doesn't matter. You're still good friends and you're both business coaches if you looked at it like that. But you don't. You look at, okay, I know who I am. I know who I am, what I offer to my clients, what I offer to the world. I know who she is and what she offers to her clients and what she offers to the world. And in that together, we make the dream work. Basically, we make businesses work because you actually have your own purpose. You have your own passion for your business. You have your own way of looking at it, and her the same. And you don't have to be, like you said, in comparison to each other, and stealing in your joy, your own joy, and missing out on a friendship because you're comparing yourself to this person or a relationship or whatever the case may be. You could have missed out on that if you were jealous or hating on her or feeling like you weren't adequate enough or whatever the case may be, all these different things. You could have missed out. That's amazing when you said that. Like, I'm glad that you brought that up.
Of course.
So what are some of the ways that our audience can try to kind of get over that, that feeling of comparing themselves with others and just staying focused on their goal and staying in their lane?
So one way to really get through that comparison trap, understand, why are you a beast?
Wow. Mm-hmm.
What makes you dope? Because if you don't really get it that you're dope, comparison is always going to come up. Why are you not considered the best? Because I'm going to tell you right now, ain't nobody better than me as far as getting an entrepreneur that want to make their first $10,000. I don't know why you going to somebody else, because Asa Leveaux is the truth.
Right.
Period. Like point blank
right.
and period. And why are you not clear about you being that in the space that you occupy? What is it about your business acumen or the way you show up, or your technical acumen? So your business. So let's say you are you're a fashion designer, and so of course there's some big business acumen in the topics of sales, marketing, operations, and finance, of course, in your business. But then there's the technical expertise about actually being a fashion designer. Why are you not the best? And that's really where that comes from. You may possibly not know enough. And in those times, assess the situation, assess where you are, and go do better. Go take a class. Go take an internship. Become an understudy for somebody who is a beast. I've done those things. I have worked for free in too many occasions. When I wanted to become a beast at sales, I supported people on sales teams at conferences where they were selling $50,000 packages. Like, you want me to tell that person over there to swipe their card for $50,000? Are you nuts?
Wow.
But if I couldn't do that, then I couldn't tell somebody to pay for $50.
Right. Wow.
Because money is just money.
Yeah.
Money is just money. It's just a tool. But you need to understand that you need to be a genius at operating that particular tool. So once you are clear about you being a beast, competition won't necessarily have to come up. Something else that I ask you to consider in the realm of comparison and competition and just the entrepreneurship world is realizing that your passion is your problem. And I will say that again. Your passion.
Can you say that again? Please say that again.
Again, your passion is your problem. What does that mean? And what does that look like when I can say that your passion is your problem? What that means is you will have a opportunity to sell something, and you don't sell what you need to sell because of one reason or another. And so what do? You blame everybody who came to your store because they didn't buy more. You blame those that did not come to your store because your cash register did not ring. You blame everybody on social media because they should have shared the fact that you had a grand opening or, in some instances, a grand closing. You deflect responsibility to everyone but you, and guess what? It's not their damn passions. It's yours.
Wow.
You aren't cheerleading them at their cubicle at work saying, oh, yeah, you can do it. You can get that coffee, girl. Get that coffee. You ain't doing that. You're not high-fiving them on the way into their office because that's their passion. And just because you're an entrepreneur does not then mean you get to create an imaginatory world where you get to have more support than they get, especially when you weren't even clear about the support that you desire. You didn't tell nobody. All you said is, I need you to support me. You weren't clear. You didn't say what support looks like for me is that you share this once a week. Are you available for that level of support? And then giving them the opportunity to choose. Not to be bullied by you, but to choose. Because
wow, it is amazing how things come together. Let me tell you, I had an event where I had some business experts here in my city in Cleveland recently, and they were, speaking to some of the stuff you're saying, but you're like putting on top of it, like what they were talking about. And it's amazing to hear, I was listening to them, at the event, and then hear you speak, it's just like my mind is just like going, I'm so happy this is a replay, that there's replays with this because I can listen to it over and over again because I know if you don't have a pen and paper, you're not getting all of it. Like, you have to have something. You have to listen to this a couple of times because people don't look at it like that. When they feel like the sales are not going and they feel like, okay, well, I think I'm doing all I can. No, a lot of times people don't step back and say, what else could I do, or what am I doing wrong, or, they kind of start to, like you said, deflect and put it on other people. And, I've been guilty of it myself, like, well, what am I doing wrong, or why aren't people supporting me with this, or, but I have to look at it like they're not supporting you because what did you do? What else could you have done? That's amazing. Thank you.
You're most welcome.
Wow. It's just so funny how stuff comes together. So I do appreciate you for giving us all this information and these tips because I know I'm going to go into my business a different way. So tell us a little bit more about yourself and some of the things that you have passions for.
So something that I really do have a passion for is mindset. So within entrepreneurs, I really do love entrepreneurs that much that it's not just a job. It really is a passion. And one of the things that I'm seeing based on that passion is how entrepreneurs they can become prisoners to ideas, prisoners to paradigms. And I don't appreciate that. I don't like that at all. It doesn't bring me joy. And that's something else that I can talk about a little later, a joy assessment. But it doesn't bring me joy. And one of those paradigms that I have seen is this idea called work-life balance. Have you heard of it?
I've heard of it, but I would like to hear your version and how you think about it.
Okay, so work-life balance was an idea that actually came about in the late 1970s. That's the first time the idea had ever been coined. The idea was to allow corporations to tell their employees that they were still doing a good job as a result of spending all their time at the companies. So to let you know, yeah, there's work-life balance. So my personal thing is, I think that's crap. Because there is nothing on earth that I desire to have equal parts to working for someone else.
Wow. Wow,
And also, you're an entrepreneur. You don't earn anything. You create everything. You don't earn money. You create money. You don't earn vacation time. You create vacation time.
Okay.
So how in the whole world are you talking about some work-life balance? Because in entrepreneurial world, work-life balance is totally off. It's a non-negotiable. Like I'm not even available for that conversation. Because for me, this is what works. This is how my life looks. And this is how many entrepreneurs work. This is where their life looks. I can go to a conference for 4 days. 2 days, I'm in the proverbial dungeon creating a new product or new service. For the next 3 days, I take my son on a cruise. The next 2 days, I make sure that I am providing quality time, creating quality time for someone that may be a love interest. For the next 5 days, I need to dive in to my team and really make sure that tasks are being delegated and the operational standards are being met. That's what entrepreneurial life is like. And there is more of an ebb, flow, and rhythm rather than this rigid idea that I must have the same amount of hours for my loved one, the same amount of hours for my child, the same amount of hours for my business, the same amount of hours for my staff, the same amount of hours for my church, the same amount of hours for my sports, the same amount of hours for my health, the same amount of hours for my brother. That is comparison on acid. Because what happens is you take in all of that and come with this idea that you are failing at life.
Wow, because you're trying to do all of that.
Right, and when in actuality, you're not failing at life. What you may be is maybe you're not clear about what life needs to look like for you to the people who love and support you. So in my life, what does that need to happen? It needs to let my mother know, Mama, I'm going to call you on Sunday to catch up for the week because I'm not able to take them 10-minute phone calls twice a day. My son, so I'm not going to be able to make it on the field trip on Friday. But I got you all day Sunday, and it's just going to be us, and I won't even pick up my phone. Does that work for you? Do you understand? Telling someone that interests me, look, potential babe, like, I get it, that you want to have an hour-long conversation, but please know that I'm taking you to Miami for a long weekend where you will have me all to yourself. Does that work for you? And if not, how can it work for you? Just be open and honest with people and allow, again, same thing in sales. You allow people to choose. I'm telling you what's available, and it's your choice to choose. We're just so scared that somebody else isn't going to choose what we want them to choose, and so we identify that and make that something attached to ourselves. So when they don't choose our possibility, it means they don't choose us.
That is, wow, that's real. Everything makes it so, you make everything so personal a lot of times.
Right.
When it's
and
not
it's
even
not all the time. No.
Yep. And even though, like you said, and even if they don't make that choice to take what you're offering, maybe they just can't. It's nothing against you. It's just they can't do that or they don't want to. That's amazing. That's great. So tell us, Asa, after all of that great information, what's next for you? What do you have coming up soon?
So what's coming up next for me is, like, for instance, this week I'm actually in Los Angeles. I have a book signing in Inglewood on Saturday from 2 to 4. So I'm excited about that. We preparing right now for a book signing in Atlanta next month in June. So June 2017 will be in Atlanta. Definitely looking forward to that because I have not been to Atlanta for book promotions as of yet. But I love Atlanta, so I'm looking forward to that. Also coming out with a book that talks about this work-life balance. And so it is literally called F Balance. Literally. Literally. And so going through the edits right now. Yes, F Balance. And so we're going through the edits right now, and it'll be available August 1st, 2017.
All right, you guys. So you know what you got to do. August 1st, 2017. Go onto the website and get that book. So can you please put, when you get an opportunity, can you please put your information? We're going to put your information put in the event page so that you guys, if you have questions or, you want to reach out to him, you can just click that link and you can get his book that he already has. Don't forget he has 365 affirmations for men, one for men and one for women. So go ahead and get one for yourself and one for a friend or a spouse or whatever the case may be. And you want to make sure that you follow him so that way we make sure that we get that new book on August 1st.
Of course. And if you are someone that is interested in entrepreneurship, I created something free for you. It actually helps you get clear about who you provide solutions for. And we talked about that being very important. And the way to get to that is go to www.myfirst10k.co. That's myfirst10k.co. All righty.
Thank you so much. So let me first say thank you so much for sharing your experience, your expertise, and your passion for what you do with us. I do appreciate you coming on the show. I really do. And I want to make sure that you know that the invitation for my show is always open. If you ever want to come back on and you want to share anything with us, please don't hesitate to email me, instant message me, whatever the case may be, call me, whatever, and say, hey, I got this going on, and I need to let everybody know. Because after today, I know they want to hear it, and they want to see it.
Well, thank you for that. I really appreciate that.
Now, is there anything else you want to share with our audience today?
The last thing I want to share is please be kind to yourself.
Thank you. Be kind to yourself. Thank you. I always ask my guests to share whatever they use to encourage themselves from day-to-day quotes or scriptures or whatever the case, or words, colors, whatever. So I would take, please be kind to yourself. That's amazing because, like you said before, we have to make sure we're taking care of ourselves for others. So thank you so much for being on the show. I do appreciate you.
Most welcome.
All right, you guys, I want to thank you guys for listening to Asa Leveaux. We had a great show tonight. He gave us all kinds of information. You guys, I know you got through the show and you were probably writing things down, or you were listening and didn't get a chance to write things down. That's fine, because as you know, this can be replayed. We will make sure that replay will be in the event page. Go ahead and listen to it a couple of times and make sure that you're getting all of it, because he gave us great information to take our business, our lives, our relationships, all of those things to the next level. And we don't want to just let this go on deaf ear, and we want to use it and go forth. That is what this show is all, I'm going to say our show. This is what our show, the Miss Savvy Pro Show, is all about. It's all about living the life that we were born to live, to be empowered, to be encouraged, to be savvy. And that is what we got today. So I want to thank you guys for listening to the Miss Savvy Pro Show on the I Am a Superwoman Network, the best network online. And I want to thank you for tuning in. You have a good night. Deuces, you guys.